Chapter 8, The King of Birds. Today we are going to have the explanation of the lesson, The King of Birds. So children, we have heard many times about the king of the jungle, that is the lion. But in this story, we are going to read about the king of birds. In this story, we'll find out what happens when a little bird, it decides to become the king. So let's read on. Once, long ago, the birds had a meeting. They wanted a king, just like people and animals. Eagle should be king. He is strong and kingly, said one. No, he has no crown, and when he calls, he sounds too sad, said another. Then ostrich, because he is the largest and roars like a lion, said one called out. No, he can't fly. The king of the birds must be able to fly, said eagle. I think I should be king, said peacock, fanning his tail. I'm so beautiful. You are too proud, said owl. I have the largest eyes of any bird. This makes me very wise. I should be king. Just then, a shrill voice suddenly rose above the din. Excuse me, excuse me. It was the tiny Nediki bird. He flew out from his nest and settled on the branch of a tree. Okay, so now what happens in the story? Long time ago, these birds had a meeting and they wanted a king, just like people and other animals have. So one of them said that the eagle should be the king because he is strong and he looks like a king. He's very kingly. Kingly means looking like a king. Then another bird said, no, he has no crown on his head. And when he calls, he sounds very sad. The sound of the eagle seems to be very sad. So he should not be king. Then another bird said, then ostrich, because he's the largest and roars like a lion. Because the ostrich is a very big, large bird, and when it makes a noise, the sound of the ostrich is almost sounds like the roar of the lion. So the ostrich should be the king. Another bird said, no, he can't fly. But the ostrich cannot fly. At least the king of birds should know how to fly, said the eagle. I think I should be king, the peacock said. Why? He said I should be king because I am very beautiful. He said that fanning his tail means he spread his tail, and while spreading his tail he said, see, I'm so beautiful, so I should be king. Then the owl said, no, you are very proud. Proud is when person thinks that he is very, very important and nothing very important than anyone else. So the owl said, no, you are very proud, but I should be the king because I am very wise, I am very intelligent, and I have very big, large eyes. Then, no, not you, owl, they shouted. All of them said, you go to sleep when the sun rises. Why? Because the owl sleeps in the daytime and it is awake in the night time. So everyone said, no, you cannot be the king. Absolute no. Just then a shrill voice sounded. Suddenly, shrill means very high and sharp voice from the din. Suddenly, there were so many loud noises were there, and suddenly there was a very high pitch sound. Excuse me, the tiny Nediki bird said. It is a very name of a bird. Okay. So it said, "Excuse me." This little tiny bird, Nedeki, it came out from his nest and then sat down on the branch of a tree. It's a very small bird. Okay. So it said, "Why not? Excuse me, I can also be the king. Why not me? All the birds should get the chance." Okay. So let's read what happened further. Everyone laughed, but they allowed him to speak. "And what makes you a good king?" asked the eagle, after they had all stopped laughing. "Nothing really," said Nediki, "but I should have as much chance as anyone else." Then one bird had an idea. He said, "He who can fly the highest will be king." "Yes, yes," they shouted, and they all flew up into the sky. Goose flew for one day straight over the highest mountains in the world. Eagle flew for 2 days into the blue sky above the mountains. But Vulture soared for 3 whole days without stopping, straight towards the sun. Way above them, the birds heard Vulture cry, "I am the highest, I am the king." Then, just above him, Vulture heard a tiny voice, "Tink, tink, tink. It is I, the smallest one. I'm the highest. I'm your king." It was Nedeki, the smallest bird of all. He had held on to the great feathers of the vulture as he soared into the sky. So, now what happened? Everyone laughed at the tiny Nedeki bird, okay? And he said, "Why should this one is just so small and he wants to be the king?" But the eagle said, "What makes you a good king?" Eagle said after everyone stopped laughing. Said there has to be one reason why you should become the king. The Nedeki said, "Nothing really, but I should also get as much chance as the other birds get." Then one of the birds had an idea. They said that everyone will get the chance and the bird which can fly the highest will be the king. So they all agreed. They all said, "Yes, we will do that competition and we'll see whoever flies the highest will be the king." The goose flew for one day. It flew straight over the highest mountains, very high mountains of the world. The goose flew. Then the eagle flew for 2 days. It went up to the skies above the mountains. And the vulture, it soared very, very high for about 3 whole days without stopping and straight, almost going towards the sun. And above them, way above, the vulture said, "I am the highest, I am the king." When the vulture saw that there was no other bird above him, he said that I am the king because he was the highest. Then suddenly there was a very tiny little voice over the vulture, above the vulture. Okay? It said, "No, no, ting, ting, ting. It is I." It said, the small little bird, "I am the highest," he said. "I am the king." Why? Because that small little bird had done a little bit of cheating and had hung on to the feathers of the vulture and had soared up and flew up very high and sat above the vulture. Flew up above the vulture. So let's read what happened further. Vulture was too tired to fly any further. So he sailed down with the little bird still under his wing. The other birds were furious at Nedeki's trick. The little bird quickly saw how angry they were and flew into an empty snake hole. The others said to Owl, "With your big eyes, you must keep guard at the hole and catch him when he comes out." So Owl sat in front of the hole, but the sun was warm, and soon Owl was fast asleep. The little bird peeped out, saw that Owl was asleep, and swiftly flew away. Owl was ashamed that he had let the little bird escape. So he decided to hunt by night and sleep by day to avoid any chance of being teased by the other birds. Meanwhile, Nediki flitted about in the forest and never stopped anywhere long enough to be caught. So now what happened? The vulture was, because it had flown so much, it became very tired, and so it flew down, and the little bird Nediki was also over its wings. So it came down, and the little bird Nediki was also under his wings. All the birds were very furious. Furious means very, very angry at the Nediki for doing this tricks. That was something to fool and to do the kind of cheating what it did. He fooled the other birds. Isn't it so? When the little bird saw that everyone was very, very angry with it, it quickly flew into a snake hole where the snakes live. All the other birds now looked at the owl, and they said, "You have got very big eyes now. Now you keep guard, keep a watch carefully. As the bird comes out, that little bird comes out of the hole, you have to catch him. Okay?" Now, the owl sat down very quietly in front of the hole, looking very straight into it. Whenever it comes out, the bird comes out, it will catch it. But as the sun became warm, the owl fell asleep. And as the owl fell asleep, the little bird peeped out, looked out, and flew very fast, swiftly. Very fast it flew, very far away. Okay? Now, Owl was feeling very ashamed and very bad that he had the little bird escape. So what happened? They lost the bird, and then Owl decided, okay, fine, I will search in the night time also. And because all the other birds will start teasing him and getting angry at him and saying, you think you are very wise, but you sleep, and that little bird only went away. But in the meantime, that little Nediki flittered and flew away everywhere, far away in the forest only from the other birds, so that it would never be caught. It was a very smart and intelligent bird actually. So which, as per the story, the king is supposed to be a wise person, and this bird was very smart and wise. So it just shows us that even if a bird or any person is small, we should not underestimate them. We should not say that they are small